Alright, welcome back. In this video, we'll be looking at how to deploy a React app to GitHub pages in just a few simple steps. And yes, you can do this absolutely for free, so let's get into it. So first of all, you need a React app, and if you don't have one, you can actually just do npx create React app, and then the name of your project if you're starting from scratch. But since I already have a project, I'm just going to stick with this and skip all the setting up details. And just to show you what the project looks like, we can do npm start. And you can see there's just a simple application, so don't worry about what the actual content of the web page is. Once you have your app, you need to make sure that it's linked up with a GitHub repo. So here I can do git remote --v to check that I've already set this up. But if you haven't done this, just go to GitHub, create a new repo, and follow the instructions to link your React app to it. So if you have all this set up, basically the first step you need to do is to go into your package.json and add a homepage value to it. So here I can do homepage with the quotes homepage, and the value that you put here depends on whether you're doing this for your project or your personal portfolio, or if you have a custom domain that you want to link this up with. In this case, I'm going to go with a project page, but basically all the steps are going to be pretty much the same no matter what your use case is. So here it's going to be https your username, so .github.io, and the slash will be your name of your project. So in this case, my project name is demo site. So that's what I'm going to go with. Save. And the next step would be to install GitHub pages. So to install GitHub pages, you can simply do npm install save GitHub pages. And if you're using yarn, you can just do yarn add GitHub pages. The steps are the same. And this is basically going to add GitHub pages into your dependencies. And then in your script, you need to add a deploy command that is going to tell React what to do when you deploy a page. So here we can say, or rather at the start, we can say pre-deploy, and this is going to be npm run build. So this will build your files that you have in your project, and then when you deploy, we'll run GitHub pages -d and build. So if you're wondering how I know about all these commands, you can find this on the Create React App documentation, which I'll link in the description below if you want to find out more. But if not, basically what's happening here is the pre-deploy script will be run before your deploy script whenever you run npm run deploy. And another thing to take note here is that if you are deploying to a GitHub user page instead of a project page, which I'm doing now, then you need to add one additional modification. So under your deploy step, basically you need to add in -b. So to say, I want to build from this branch, from the master branch, or whatever your branch is called, and that's going to tell GitHub which branch is going to deploy your project from. So that's if you want to deploy to a personal user page rather than a project page. Now once you're done, you can save it, and then you can actually run npm run deploy, give it a few moments. Once that's done, you can click on the URL, and you see that the file is not found. So let's check if we are looking at the right repo. So the repo name should be React demo, so make sure you match it up over here. It should be React-demo for my case, and then let's rerun the deploy. So npm run deploy, and let's see, give it a moment. And we should also double check our project settings in GitHub. So again, we can do git remote --v, open this up, and under your settings you can go and check under pages. You can see the site is actually published here, and that's because I already have a custom domain set up, but this will be your username .github.io instead. So in my case, I won't be able to find the website at myusername.github.io, but if you don't have a custom domain, then you should see your project being set up over here. So the important thing to make sure here in your pages setting is that you have the branch GitHub pages selected here. So your pages site is basically being built from this GitHub pages branch. And if you click on this, you can also see that you have the main branch over here. So you can check in your code. Your main branch will look as per normal, but in your GitHub pages branch, this is what your files will look like when they are being built for production. So again, under settings, if you look near the bottom, you have pages selected, and check that you have GitHub pages selected over here. So that's how you can deploy your React app to GitHub pages in just like 3 steps, maybe 3-4 steps. Now we're going to look at how you can add a custom domain to that already deployed site. So here you have the custom domain. As always, if you have any questions, please drop a comment down below and I'll try to help you out as much as I can. One thing I should have mentioned, at the bottom over here, you can actually enforce HTTPS to make sure that when users go to your website, it's going to be encrypted. So you can click on enforce HTTPS. Instead of going to HTTP, it should bring you to HTTPS. So you have the secure sign over here, and you can check the certificate is from under details. You can see that it's from Let's Encrypt. So that's great. If it's not showing up for you, do give it some time for the changes to take effect. As you can see here, it's only HTTP, but it still brings us to the secure website over here. So if I refresh, we should see that, yeah, now we're going to HTTPS. And now to set up the custom domain, the first thing you'll need, of course, is a custom domain. So if you don't have one, there are many places that you can actually go about getting a custom domain. If you're a student developer, then you can actually just search for GitHub student free domain. And let's look at the options. We have this over here. Or rather, let's go to the previous option, domains, and you can see that GitHub offers you 3 options. So these are sites that you can use whether or not you're a student developer. So let's say name.com. Let's go with name.com because I already have a .tech domain already set up. So name.com, we can just search for name.com GitHub student because the instructions aren't actually spelled out over here. So just do a quick simple Google search and we can see that here we can log in with GitHub, and then you should be able to find your domain. So let's log in with GitHub, and once that's done, you just need to search for your domain. So I'm going to search for, let's say, programmer error, and you can see that here are the domain names that they offer you for 1 year. So let's search for these, and you can see that all of these are free. So we just need to select one of these. Let's go with programmer error.live. Add it to your cart, check it out, and no thanks. Check that everything is free, and next step. So I'm doing this for the first time, so hopefully there are no issues. Here it looks like you just need to key in your account details and contact details. So I'm going to skip this until it's done and I'll be right back. It looks like the promotion cannot be redeemed for some reason. So I'm going to forget about name.com and let's go with another service. So another one you can try is get.tech. You can try this as well. Tech domains. So similarly, you can search for a domain and go for something simple. But in this case, since I've already gotten a domain from get.tech, I won't be able to get one for free. So I'm just going to skip and log into my account. So once you've got your account, you'll be able to log in and you should be taken to a control panel where you'll be able to manage your custom domain. Then you just need to go in here and navigate to it. And for get.tech, you can actually scroll down and click on manage DNS and you'll be taken to a control panel where you can actually just set up the configurations. Essentially, you'll need to have 4 A records. Each of these records will point to GitHub's IP addresses, and you can see the pattern is actually that the third value is 108, 109, 110, and 111. So these values can be found on GitHub's website, but if not, you can just copy and paste each of these numbers. And as for the name, you just need to provide your custom domain that you have gotten. And here you have to take note that it's without the www or the www. Where that will come in will be under your CNAME records. So while you're here, you can actually also add in a CNAME record, and this is going to link your www.username.tech to your GitHub domain. So your username.github.io. So the value that is in your name is basically whatever custom domain that you've got. And just in case you're using get.tech as well, to add a CNAME record, you can click over here, add CNAME. And for A records, you can click add A record here. Now once you have set all this up, you need to go into your pages, and you can see that in my actual profile page over here, and in my pages, you see that I have also set up here a custom domain. So here is where you'll need to add in, or in your project page, your custom domain. In this case, I'm showing you my profile page because I've already used it here. So just add in your custom domain, click save, and you shouldn't be able to see a green tick just yet. One other thing you'll need to configure is in your app itself. So back in your package.json, your homepage will now be changed to whatever your custom domain is, so .tech, and the URL can remain the same. So /React demo, and let's just stop the local instance and do an npm run deploy. And once it's done, let's check it out. We see it right here, and we have everything looking great over here. If you're getting a warning over here that says that the DNS is improperly configured, one way you can check that you set things up correctly is to go into what's my DNS and basically just check whether you've set up the custom domain to the correct IP address. So let me show you how you can do that. So here you can actually just go into what's my DNS.net and type in your custom domain. So I'm going to type in my custom domain and search for the A records. Click search, and you can see that the DNS has propagated completely, and so currently I'm in Singapore and the domain is pointing to GitHub's IP addresses over here. So if you're getting any crosses over here in your location, just be patient and wait for a few minutes or hours. According to what I've read, it can take up to 48 hours, but usually it's much faster than that. So in summary, you basically need to configure your pages over here, set up your custom domain, click save, and to make sure that this matches up with your DNS settings under your DNS provider's control panel. In this case, I'm using get.tech. The concepts and the procedures are going to be very similar, whether you're using Google domains or name.com or Namecheap. You need to have 4 A records, and each of these domain names are pointing to one of the GitHub IP addresses, so 08, 09, 1011, and then you also need to add a CNAME record where your domain www. your custom domain points to your username.github.io. Once you have these pieces of the puzzles together and you have in your GitHub project your homepage correctly set up, then you should be good to go. If you found this video useful, do give it a like, share, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more of such videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.